Spider-Man No Way Home is back in theaters.
Who's coming with me?
Catch it on the big screen.
Well, I'm in.
With new footage.
We should do this again. You got it.
Spider-Man No Way Home.
Welcome back, everyone. This will be my brand new Spider-Man No Way Home extended cut trailer video with a bunch of deleted scenes. They have 11 new minutes of footage that they worked into the extended cut. It's coming out in theaters really soon, as the trailer says. A couple of those deleted scenes are in this trailer, literally, so we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. Of course, I'll do like a really big video for all the deleted scenes when they release it. Because it's happening so soon, we'll do a giveaway for movie tickets. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave your favorite deleted scenes so far. They've actually revealed a bunch of them. Like, the first one in this new footage is Peter in gym class the day that he came to school after Matt Murdock Daredevil helped him clear him of any charges. But the secret had officially come out, like the genie was out of the bottle, so to speak. So like all the other kids in school here in gym class are egging him on to crawl on the walls, show off his powers, which he does. There's another new scene of MJ helping them during their final fight at the Statue of Liberty with the Sinister Six characters where she throws them the canister. There's another really cool scene during the final fight where Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man talks to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Tom Holland, saying that they should do this again sometime. Seems very leading. Just teasing another major multiverse Spider-Verse crossover, which now, based on what they've announced so far for Marvel Phase 5 and Marvel Phase 6, seems like more of an Avengers 6 Secret Wars teaser than anything else. Because I think based on what we've learned about the Spider-Man character so far, like in the next couple of phases, Spider-Man 4 kind of seems like it's going back to the basics and doing him more as like a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man level character instead of being like a giant Avengers crossover. Like, there'll be other characters in Spider-Man 4, of course, it'll be a big movie, but like Matt Murdock Daredevil will probably be one of the big crossover characters, and he's another ground level character. So for those of you wanting to see both of those characters together on screen more, it sounds like they have plans for that. I don't know if that means that Spider-Man is going to have any cameo scenes during Daredevil Born Again. Maybe, but I'm not expecting it. There are like a billion other big characters that they have plans for to cameo in Daredevil Born Again. Then we have a new scene of Spider-Man stopping a criminal early in the movie who's played by Tom Holland's real-life younger brother, Harry Holland. It's meant to be the scene where his advanced suit, the Jack Kirby suit that he made in Spider-Man Far From Home, gets the paint thrown on it. We see footage of that in the background. And he winds up having to turn it inside out when they go after Electro because he can't get it off, so it becomes the black suit, but it was really just like the same suit, just inside out. It was also kind of meant to be a cool wink in the direction of the black Venom suit because they also have the piece of the Venom symbiote that they leave on Earth 616 at the end of the movie. So also Symbiote Saga happening for him sometime soon. Maybe not in Spider-Man 4, but definitely in the new trilogy of Spider-Man movies at some point. Hopefully when they get to Avengers 6 Secret Wars, they'll culminate that storyline and have some Easter eggs for the way that he got the costume in the Secret Wars comics back in the 80s. Like I said, it's only a small fraction of the deleted scenes, but the first big thing that you can see that they filmed was a scene where Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man fought Green Goblin on his glider. The same way that Andrew Garfield fought his villain, Electro, from Amazing Spider-Man 2, like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield each had moments during the big final fight at the Statue of Liberty where their versions of Spider-Man fought their villains from their movies. And one of the biggest complaints after the movie, there weren't many complaints because it was a great movie, but one of the things people wished they had done was have some kind of scene with Tobey Maguire and Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin just to acknowledge all the history that they have between the two of them.
I've been like a father to you. Be a son to me now.
To be fair, they did reference a lot of the Green Goblin's storyline from that first Spider-Man movie earlier in the film when they were all meeting each other inside Doctor Strange's prison cells, just realizing that each of them had died in their original universes without completely understanding it right away.
You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
It is cool to see that they actually did film a Tobey Maguire versus Green Goblin scene, but for whatever reason, it just didn't make the final cut. I'm assuming that's because they were turning this big Statue of Liberty fight into an Avengers Endgame final battle situation. Like during Endgame, the final battle, no joke, is like 30 minutes long. And I think they didn't want the Statue of Liberty fight to go on for that long because they wanted to get on to the moment where Doctor Strange had to weave his second spell, where you see all of reality tearing all around them, and the first spell that they still haven't fixed yet is bringing all those extra Sinister Six multiverse villains to the main MCU Earth. There were so many deleted versions of this final battle too. There were versions where they had America Chavez, who's going to show up during Doctor Strange 2, in this final fight, but that was when they were doing Spider-Man No Way Home before they were going to release Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. That happens with all the Marvel movies, like really early on when they start boarding out all these fights and trying to figure out what the big action scenes are going to be. The special effects people actually have to start on those before they start actually filming the movie because they take so long to complete. And a lot of times they'll start working on these big fight scenes and conceptualizing them before they've locked down all the characters that are going to be in the movie. So they have to do a bunch of different versions just depending on what winds up working out through the actual filming process. But the next big deleted scene is of the Sinister Six just being this awkward squad together, like all casual, like as if they're not all evil genius supervillains from alternate universes. Just me and the boys riding casually in the elevator. If you haven't watched Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire in a long time, this is very obviously meant to be a reference to the infamous elevator scene, where Spider-Man is forced to take the elevator instead of web-slinging away like he normally would.
It rides up in the crotch a little bit, too.
Like each of these villains can either fly, transport themselves through power lines, jump from building to building using their many octopus arms, but they're reduced to riding in an elevator like common people. The way they actually cut this in the film, like the jump cut to them just walking into Happy's apartment, was a little funny, and I think just because of the comedy of having them all hang out in the apartment together, Dr. Octopus commenting on how ridiculous it all was, probably felt like enough. That's why they probably got rid of this elevator scene, it just felt too extra. But if there's anything that I'd like to see more of, it's just the energy of them interacting with each other, all the Sinister Six villains. Like when they were in the cells, it was probably one of the funniest parts of the film. The next big deleted scene is actually a Matt Murdock Daredevil deleted scene, and it's him defending Happy Hogan later in the events of the film and being his very good lawyer, so to speak, in this boardroom. Like he told Happy Hogan, you're going to need a very good lawyer because Damage Control is definitely going to sue you.
Let's hear what he has to say. Matt?
You're gonna need a really good lawyer.
How did you just do that?
I'm a really good lawyer.
These people in the boardroom that are grilling the two of them are the Damage Control lawyers, and they're suing Happy for stealing the Stark tech. Even though if you think about it, it's weird for Damage Control, Department of the Government, to sue Happy when the Stark tech actually belongs to Stark Industries, so Pepper Potts could always say, oh, it's Happy, please don't sue him, just bring the tech back. They did actually film a scene with a young version of Morgan Stark from Avengers Endgame. Obviously, she's a couple years older at this point, but she was going to be in the film as part of all these scenes with them grilling Happy about the stolen Stark tech. There is a much longer version of this Matt Murdock Daredevil deleted scene. I'll do a video for that when they release it officially. She might wind up showing up later in this scene. And if it wasn't clear, Happy would have had his stolen Iron Man's arc reactor in the 3D printer before all the stuff with Mysterio's video went down and J. Jonah Jameson started his Spider-Man broadcast. So somewhere in the aftermath of their big fight with Mysterio, Happy coming back to his apartment and things sort of settling, for a brief hot second before Mysterio's video, Happy would have taken this extra arc reactor in the 3D printer to his apartment. The old 3D printer that he had during Spider-Man Far From Home that they used to make the advanced suit on the jet got blown up by Mysterio. And if you didn't spot it, the arc reactor that he stole is the Iron Man Mark VI reactor that he created at the end of Iron Man 2 with the new element and then used again during the Avengers movie. There were also a lot of references with the arc reactor and Dr. Octopus's fusion reactor. And if you don't remember, Dr. Octopus crushed the arc reactor during the big final fight, destroying it.
The power of the sun. The power of the sun. In the palm of my hand.
It looks like there are a bunch of other deleted scenes with each of the Sinister Six villains during this final fight. They filmed so much extra footage for all these fights at the Statue of Liberty and just whittled it down to the essentials for this theatrical version. They talk a lot about how they upgraded Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man suits from their movie with the modern materials and enhancements just to make them more practical to actually walk around in all day while they were filming. Same thing for Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin armor. It's crazy how important zippers are for these super suits. Like back in the day, 20 plus years ago, they didn't have zippers like this, so they were just way more uncomfortable to wear. Which is why the costume department is saying that each of them, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland, were jealous of each other's suits. Tom Holland actually said that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield suits were both way more comfortable to wear than his MCU Spider-Man suits. I think that's mostly because Tobey and Andrew's suits are much more cloth-based, way more lo-fi, which is what he does with the brand new Spider-Man suit at the end of the movie. The whole idea with that suit is that it's meant to look much more like Tobey's and Andrew's suits. He was inspired by their suits after spending so much time with them. That's why his new Spider-Man symbol, even though the whole suit, the Spider-Man symbol, looks more comic book accurate, looks much more like Andrew Garfield's and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man symbol and their suits. But if it wasn't clear, even though it is like the comic book friendly neighborhood Spider-Man version of the suit now, much more comic book accurate, he did cannibalize some parts from the old advanced suit to make it. That's why you see some of the scraps from the advanced suit, like the mask itself, I think is still mostly the mask from the advanced suit. So the irises for the eyes will still work the same way. Speaking of Matt Murdock Daredevil in Marvel Phase 4, it'll be the same thing for him when he comes back as full-on Daredevil. Like, they'll give him a new costume that'll be a little bit more comic book accurate, but also using modern materials, so it's just much more comfortable for Charlie Cox to walk around in all day when he's filming. We also learned a little bit more about what's going on with the Spider-Man Freshman Year series. I've done a trailer video from that from Comic-Con, so I'll post a link at the end of this for that. And my full She-Hulk Episode 2 video also posting later this week, so be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss that. Links down in the description below for all my She-Hulk episodes. Everyone click here for my full House of the Dragon Episode 1 video, and click here for that Spider-Man Freshman Year teaser trailer video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.